Does a Jordan Peele produced him score a touchdown worthy of his legacy, or does it fumble horrifically? Let's dive in. Warning, spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen the movie, go ahead and bookmark this video and come back. Otherwise, let's continue. So, let's talk about the social commentary that the movie obviously is trying to express with this movie. Aside from attempting to deliver mind-bending horror, Him's core purpose is to serve as a social commentary on America's greatest sport, football, and America's greatest team. Oh, sorry, maybe not the greatest. America's sport and America's team, and the people's desire not only to be the very best in the sport, but to achieve celebrity status through it. I don't know if that was a good idea, but while I don't want to discourage creators from exploring these themes, for a motion picture, for a major motion picture with an almost $30 million budget aimed at a wide audience, it probably wasn't wise to make a film whose primary focus is to critique these things. I'm just saying. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. Maybe not your specific team, so don't at me in the comments. But when you look it up, America's team is Dallas Cowboys. And this movie obviously is using the San Antonio Saviors, as the clear comparison there. Had the story focus just more generally on the pursuit of fame within the sport, regardless of what it means. It might have resonated better, I think, with audiences. I know where I'm from in Texas, where football is a way of life. I did not expect a large turnout, and I wasn't wrong. For a primetime viewing, my theater was only half full, and there was nothing else competing with it for attention for that weekend. So that's not a good thing. Just saying. All right, let's talk about the Jordan Peele aspect of everything with this movie, given that he is a producer for this movie. So Jordan Peele style movies have like a signature flair that plays tricks on your mind and keeps you hooked in until the very end, plays games with your mind. Him definitely tries to fit that template, but I think leans on the form a little bit too heavily. And much like Cam and Isaiah overusing the run juice, you know what I mean, if you've seen the movie, it just kind of makes it feel like the film is like overdone and it's trying to be something that it really isn't. That's just how I kind of see it. This over-reliance weakens the horror that the film is obviously trying to convey to the audience, the more disturbing effects, and it just comes across as more of a like routine rather than being original. That's not to say that there are disturbing moments, but it's trying so hard to match the style it's aiming for. The movie instead feels weird, unbelievable, and just kind of distracting. In fact, several people in my theater left during the more bizarre, over-the-top scenes, which is never a good thing. You never want to lose viewers. Let's talk about what I didn't like, because there's more of that than I liked. I didn't like the scene where Cam gets hit in the head by someone from the goat cult early on in the film, like when he's on the field. I mean, he's tossing the ball around, and then the goalpost starts vibrating, and then that goat appears and hits him. I just didn't like that. It wasn't set up very well, in my opinion. The demonic force shaking the goalpost, followed by a mascot suddenly attacking, just felt like lazy writing. Like, I think could have done a little bit better for us to have some type of interaction for the first time with the cult. I think could have done that a little bit better. The movie also dragged in places. Enough strange incidents had happened that Cam should have realized something was wrong, that Isaiah wasn't a traditional mentor, and that this wasn't normal football training, and he should have just left. That's what should have happened. Yes, that would have cut the story short, but stretching it out made the film feel longer and more unnecessary than it needed to be. As for the ending, it echoed Ready or Not. That's the movie with Samara Weaving. Almost said Sigourney Weaver. Samara Weaving. But that movie did a better job of executing the concept it was trying to do far better than this one did. The scene with Cam's agent waiting endlessly before being torn apart, for example, could have been much tighter. We could just, the entity could have just put him on the little star, stretched him apart, and just burst him away as Cam walked away. We didn't have to hear him going on and on and on about, please don't, and then bam. If you haven't seen Ready or Not, I would recommend going and watch that movie because the sequel's coming out and it's pretty good. All right, let's talk about what I liked. There were a few things that I liked. Marlon Wayans. I'm not used to seeing Marlon Wayans in a dramatic role. I know him from, Old School and Living Color, the Wayans brothers, and the Scary Movie franchise. Scary Movie 6 is coming out, so obviously this is kind of him getting back in the game into people's minds. But he, to me, was one of the best parts, if not the best part of the movie. The scenes using the X-ray and infrared views were an interesting way to depict bodily harm and changes in action. So I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of Mortal Kombat, some of the Mortal Kombat games. The football training scene where the player is intentionally hit in the face by the automatic ball shooter was strange but effectively disturbing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be him, and I wouldn't want to been Cam having his fate in my hands. The sauna scene where the deranged Isaiah fans sneaked in to attack Cam and the girl suddenly emerged from the bench after Isaiah left the sauna was both unexpected and freaky. I'm like, she was waiting that whole time in the heat. Girl, I'm surprised she didn't pass out from heat exhaustion. So those are the things I like. Mostly just specific scenes in the movie aside from Marlon Wayans. What it should have been, I feel like, and again, this is kind of a recap of what I was kind of saying earlier, but had I made him, if I was the movie producer, I would have kept the premise of an up-and-coming football player hoping to make it big in the professional league by being mentored by his hero, the current GOAT, the greatest of all time. But I would have leaned harder into Isaiah's unraveling, something more unhinged like James McAvoy in Speak No Evil. You're obviously, he's coming across as friendly. He wants you to trust him. And then he does certain things that make you question him. You kind of go along with it at first, but eventually you're like, okay, I think I want to get off the ride. That kind of thing. Those unexpected moments that make you question what's happening until gradually you realize things are not right and you just want it all to end. Cam should have sensed these things were off, yet stuck with Isaiah, hoping it would all blow over until Isaiah finally exposes his cult intentions. That's when Cam tries to escape, ultimately freeing himself not only from the cult, but also from the misguided dream of being a GOAT like his hero. I think that would have been far more effective and maybe even still be able to get the message across that they were trying to get. Less than that, simply having them spar for a winner and tacking on a more comedic third act. I think that kind of took away from the movie. That just didn't seem whatever to me. So the future of him, because I don't think it's very bright. Compared to Jordan Peele's other films, this one lands dead last, at least on my list of movies. Get Out is still, in my opinion, the all-time best Jordan Peele movie, and maybe one day we'll get one on another level like that. But this isn't it, sorry to say. The reviews are poor, the box office is weak, and I don't see a Him 2 happening, nor do I really particularly want to see one. Although if they do make it, I'll end up going to see it because I like horror movies, so there you go. People might check it out on Peacock, but I doubt most will finish it or feel like their time was well spent. Sorry to say. All right, so here are my final thoughts and ratings for Him. Him clearly didn't take a page out of its own playbook and model itself on far better movies. Had it done so, it might have been the GOAT instead of being Draft's worst pick. Yes, I had to put in some football puns. So that makes me rate Him 2 out of 5. No, it's not the worst rating. It's not. I know what you did last summer. Go watch that review because that has my worst rating ever. But I'm sure there's going to be movies down the line that get close. I'm challenging myself. Hopefully not, jinxing myself. But I'm challenging myself to watch 31 horror movies and put out a review every single day for 31 days of Halloween. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I am going to be trying to put more videos out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. And I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.